Ellis Beefeaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
It's 7:30 on the Buzz. Skunk Cabbage, My Friend. My new book will be coming out shortly. And I'll be signing it. I'll tell you more about the big autograph party coming up. You know, I was just thinking, it's a good thing I wasn't at a summer camp in Arizona.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Ann Silverman again.
It's getting pretty bad out there. A new accident north and side out. The Buzz on the weather. Light morning rain increasing this afternoon. Highs of 55. I'm Ann Silverman on the Buzz. 100.7 FM.
Thanks very much, Ann. It is 7:32 on the Buzz. And to your calls again in just a moment. People have been on the line for a bit here, so thanks for that, and we'll get right to you. Want to hear your camping stories. Want to also mention to you, though, that it is still a very good time to get a home financed because the rates are very low. What is difficult about getting a home financed for some people is their past credit history. And many times, many mortgage companies don't even want to talk to people like that. But it is very much a different story at Northern Pacific Mortgage. In fact, Doug Freedy there has been helping people in the Northwest, people who maybe have been, as he says, human with their credit in the past, qualify for the best affordable mortgages now for 16 years. And when he says affordable, he means affordable for your family. A home loan you can afford. So even if you've been turned down for a home loan elsewhere, do call Northern Pacific Mortgage under no obligation and find out a bit more. Doug Freedy is his name. Northern Pacific Mortgage is the place. 646-9088. 646-9088. And let's start with Lance, who's calling from Puyallup this morning. Lance, are you there?
Lance
is not there. Lance has left the building. Let's talk to Phil in Capitol Hill. Hi, Phil. You're on the Buzz.
Good morning, Pat.
Hi.
Lisa.
Morning.
Dustin. I'm still laughing about your skunk cabbage story. Was that all you jumped down into? Just the skunk cabbage?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was it.
Yeah, I hope my wife hears this because she's driving to work right now, and we are frequent listeners.
What's your wife's name? Phil?
Carol.
Hi, Carol.
So she'll probably hear this one.
Okay.
And she'll remember it well. This is when we were living back in New Jersey, on the Jersey Shore. We had planned a trip up to the Poconos, which is about a 3-hour drive for a long time camping trip. We love to camped around the United States.
The Poconos are called mountains, but they're really just big hills.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. Yeah. You can say that again. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, they're not mountains by Northwest standing.
No, you can find some that are pretty impressive, but nothing like here.
And really pretty country too.
It's beautiful country.
Yeah.
So this was a 3-hour drive up to the Poconos. We had a Toyota pickup truck, and we loaded it to the gills. And I even went to the trouble of finding inner tubes, the truck type, and filled them because I wasn't about to pump them up in the Poconos.
No.
So that took up a lot of room. I mean, we looked like we were coming out of a film, moving west. We had that much equipment.
Yeah.
Took us about 3 hours to unpack. We had a beautiful site along rapids. Pitched our tent, set up everything, went tubing, shinned our knees on rocks, things like that. Having a great time. We're exhausted, so tired we didn't want to cook. Went down into this little town, found a wonderful little restaurant, came back. We were exhausted. It's about 11 o'clock. I mean, this is too good to be true. It was beautiful. The weather was beautiful. Get into the tent about midnight. Sleeping, started to sleep, attempted to sleep. All of a sudden, something was wrong, and all you could hear in the background was. We were camped about a quarter of a mile, which you couldn't see from the side of the trees, from an interstate, and it was a truck route.
Lovely.
And I mean, and I figured, well, this will be over in an hour. We just looked at each other, and all you could hear was these semis just making their way west. Anyway, to make a long story short, come 4 a.m. with absolutely no sleep, eyeballs hanging down on our chest, we commenced to load everything back into the truck with our camp lights going, and drove back home.
You're smart enough to know when to call it quits.
It was just...
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
It's a great story.
Have a good day.
I remember another time it was not a camping trip, but it was my honeymoon trip. And we drove. We went to Las Vegas. We didn't get married in Las Vegas, but along our honeymoon
Can I
trip.
interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
Did you notice that was Phil in Capitol Hill? I just wanted to point that out.
Gosh, I didn't.
He fit in well with yesterday's theme.
We love rhyming names and places.
So I just wanted to, okay.
Because our favorite is Lulu and Alala.
Yeah, we love that
But
one.
Phil in Capitol Hill is pretty good,
And
too.
Wally from Walla Walla was...
We stay at this place on our honeymoon. Yeah, we just drive, and we're just exhausted. And we get outside of Reno, and we can't find a place to stay. They're all occupied. And I've finally decided, well, we're just going to sleep in our car. I'm exhausted. I can't go any farther. And we see the lights coming on of a place called the Trails End Motel. And it's just a vacancy sign just starting to come on. The owner of the motel just arrived there. He'd been out fishing all day. And just like a godsend, we had an opportunity to stay at the Trails End Motel.
What luck.
So we go in there and he said, well, you're going to need a heater down there because they ain't got no heat in the room, so here's a heater. I forget what he charged, like $21, and it was a rip-off at that because they were terrible rooms. Very small, but quaint in a way, knotty pine and all that. But I'd charge you $15 if you want heat. So another $15 for heat.
Oh, my.
And it was cold. So, yeah, okay, here's your money, you scoundrel. And so we go down there, and we think, well, this is going to be kind of romantic in a way. It's kind of
the best of a bad situation.
the capper on our honeymoon trip, and we're just nestling in to bed for a night of romance and rest. And all of a sudden, coming down, it sounds like it's going through the room, is a train. Just as loud as it can be. It's shaking the pictures on the walls, and we're going, ah! Because we're sure it's coming through the room. And there was a train that came by at least every half hour. The rest of the night, it was the Trails End, all right. I get out next morning, I walk out and walk around back behind our motel room. The track is as close to the building as it can possibly be, and
gosh.
still clear it. It's like a foot away from the building. What a night.
How do people live like that?
And I wondered how he had so many vacancies. Let's talk to Jed in Renton about a camping experience. Hiya, Jed.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Y'all done yet?
Yeah, all of us are done, except you. You're just starting.
Here we go.
Okay.
Now listen to me. One time, my only experience about being up there in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yep.
Now then, you talk about skunk weed.
Yeah.
I had my experience with that. Now, this one particular incident, when I was up there near, you know what happens when you get up there in the holler. You get back up there in the holler and the nature calls. Well, you got to do what you got to do. Now, you talk about being your pants down to your ankles and laying down praying. Well, let me tell you something, son. That canteen, which you take a shower with, don't get confused. Now, if you get back up there in the holler, and there's skunk weed,
Hey!
and there's poison ivy.
Sorry, I was hollering. Yeah, poison ivy. You don't want to get that mixed up.
Well, we did.
Oh, boy.
About the time that happened, when I was taking care of my business, I got a tap on my shoulder when I'm pouring the canteen over my head. I looked around and I said, what the hell is that kind of smell? I looked around and it was a goddamn Sasquatch.
I'm sorry I had to cut him off. We cannot say Sasquatch on the air. New FCC thing just came down yesterday. Can't say Bigfoot either because it's too demeaning. 20 minutes before 8. This is The Buzz on a Thursday morning. Here's Leno from last night's Tonight Show now.
Hey, the Unabomber filled out his 1040 today, and then he attached it to an M80 and sent it home. God, there's a lot of legal stuff. I guess you heard the Menendez brothers' attorney, Leslie Abramson. She's in a lot of trouble. She's been threatened with disbarment for urging a witness to change his testimony. And today she admitted she did do it, but she blamed the whole thing on an overbearing father and a protective mother. That's the reason. That's why my hair is frizzy. It's loud. Hey, folks, you know this magazine John F. Kennedy Jr. has out called George? Pretty good magazine. Well, they always do these sensational covers, and I guess next month, Demi Moore posing naked on the cover of George, but it's something a little different. She's gonna be naked, except her breasts will be painted red, white, and blue. Kind of give you an idea what the flag might have looked like if Clinton had designed it. You know, that kind of thing. Just sort of give you some idea what
742. The Buzz. We're talking about camping and camping horror stories. Maybe you like camping, and that's good. That's fine. I don't understand also people who load all of their stuff into these big RVs. Television sets, VCRs. They basically throw their whole home and then take it down to a campground. I mean, why leave in the first place? That's nutty. It's kooky.
It is.
That's always who I get to camp next to, too, at Camp Up.
And they have a big generator going.
They go outside and they sit. 24 hours of sitting.
Give a lawn chair.
That is boring. Who wants to go do that? Usually they're not even reading. They're just sitting, looking at stuff. Let's talk to David on Capitol Hill. Hi, David. You're on the Buzz.
Hello, Pat. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Mr. Hornby.
Hi, David.
Mr. Fuller. Hey, this kind of reminds me of a camping trip we had in the Everglades. We were a bit liquored up in our youth, and similar maybe to Jed, I guess. I got the feeling.
Wait a second. Could you did you hear that horn honking noise?
Yes. Were there geese coming
I don't know if you could hear that on the air, but that's Hornby blowing his nose. He sounded like a goose. It was sort of a sound. He left the room to do it, and you could still hear it.
Was he choked up because I called him Mister?
I don't know. He's got a cold.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a cold.
But
so he's been honking around here all morning long.
Anyway, I'm sorry we interrupted, David.
It's quite all right.
I've been to the Everglades too.
Yeah, and cool. Some of the campgrounds are kind of remote, so we were out, and we had left our cooler out because we hadn't seen animals around, and then we heard something rooting around our cooler. And we assumed it was, like a family of raccoons or boar or something like that. So this friend of ours had a machete. So he was going to toss it out toward the cooler. And so he did, and we heard a horrible scream. And we didn't mean to hurt anything. We just thought we'd scare something. We ran out to the cooler, and there next to the cooler was a severed hand with a hook and tattooed to it were the words Sven Sveleding.
Oh, my God.